I know how it sounds. I know how crazy it all seems. But when your house starts bleeding, when your daughter talks to someone who isn't there, when the smell of rot becomes normal, you stop caring about what other people think. You just want to survive. My name is Daniel Lorne. I used to be a carpenter. A practical man. I believed in wood and nails and blueprints. Not ghosts. Not demons. And definitely not haunted walls. But that changed the year we bought the house on Briar Lane. It was late February when we first saw it. Snow still clung to the trees. The driveway was long and cracked, weeds poking through the ice. But the house itself, white wood, black shutters, a little sag in the roofline, looked like something out of an old photograph. It was cheap. Too cheap. But the real estate agent said the bank was eager to offload it. Foreclosure, she said with a shrug. People walk away from mortgages every day. She didn't mention that 3 different families had fled that house in the past 15 years. My wife Lauren was in love with the wraparound porch. My daughter Ellie loved the attic, she said it was her princess tower. Me, I was just happy to finally own something after years of apartments and second-hand furniture. We moved in on March 3rd. By March 17th, the first drop appeared. It was in the living room. Right corner of the back wall. I was hanging a photo when I noticed a smear just above the baseboard, dark red, almost black. I figured I'd cut myself. But when I checked my hands, they were clean. Then I saw the drip. A single bead, sliding down the white paint like a tear. I reached out. It was sticky. Metallic smelling. I wiped it on a tissue and tossed it without thinking. The next morning, it was back. And not just a drop, more like a trail. A weeping wound in the wall. I touched it again. Same texture. Same smell. Blood. Lauren thought I was being dramatic. She said it was probably rust from old plumbing. But there were no pipes in that wall. No water lines. No vents. Just insulation and studs. And drywall that wouldn't stop bleeding. I tried to patch it. Sanded it down, primed it, painted it over. 2 days later, it bled through again. Same spot. Same dark color. It looked angry. Ellie started sleepwalking around the same time. We'd find her standing in the hallway, facing the living room, just standing there. Not moving. Not blinking. Once, she was humming. Some strange tune we'd never taught her. When we asked her what she was doing, she said, "The man says it's his wall." Lauren laughed. Said it was just a phase. Kids have imaginary friends all the time. But this wasn't imaginary. One morning, I found Ellie drawing on the kitchen table. Crayons, pink paper. Nothing unusual. Until I looked closer. She'd drawn a man, tall, black eyes, no mouth, standing inside our living room. The walls around him were red. Bleeding. "Who's that?" I asked. She smiled. "He lives in the wall." I called a plumber, an electrician, a mold specialist. Each one gave me the same response, "There's nothing there." But they didn't see what we saw. They didn't feel the cold that crept in when the house was silent. They didn't hear the soft tapping behind the drywall at 3 a.m. They didn't smell the iron and decay that clung to the corners of that room. I started keeping a journal. Documenting everything. Dates, times, photos. I even recorded videos. In one clip, you can clearly see the wall bleed. It pulses, like something is pushing from the inside. Then one night, Lauren woke up screaming. Said she felt hands around her throat. Said she saw a face in the ceiling, staring down with hollow sockets. The next morning, she had bruises. Thin, finger-shaped bruises. We went to the police. Showed them the bruises. The recordings. The drawings. They shrugged. No signs of forced entry. No evidence of a break-in. Maybe stress. Maybe hallucinations. No one believed us. The walls started to change. It wasn't just one spot anymore. It spread, long streaks, as if something inside was clawing to get out. Sometimes we'd come home and find new handprints. Small. Like a child's. Other times they were too big. Inhuman. We stopped going into that room. We closed the door. Taped it shut. Moved the TV upstairs. But the house didn't like that. We started hearing voices in other rooms. Low whispers. Not words, just sound. Breathing. Moaning. And always that wet, squelching sound, like raw meat being chewed. Lauren stopped sleeping. Ellie started wetting the bed. I started drinking. One night, I heard footsteps above me. Heavy, deliberate. I grabbed my flashlight and went to the attic. Nothing. Except Ellie's drawing. Pinned to the wall. A drawing of me. In the attic. Surrounded by red walls. The caption read, "Daddy's next." I didn't tell Lauren. The final straw came 2 weeks later. Ellie disappeared. We searched the house. Every room. Every closet. Screaming her name. The police came. Neighbors helped. No sign of her. Then I heard tapping. From the living room. The door was still taped shut. But the tape was peeling. I opened it slowly. The walls were bleeding again. Heavier than ever. Pooling on the floor. And in the corner, Ellie. Staring at the wall. Smiling. I grabbed her. She screamed. Not like a child. Like a woman being murdered. We left that night. Burned the journals. Deleted the videos. Sold the house at a loss. 3 months later, I saw the listing online. New paint. New furniture. But the same living room. And in one of the staged photos, in the corner of the frame, just barely visible, was a single red streak. Like a tear. Like the house was waiting.